Bitcoin just hit $35,000. Did I screw up converting most of my Bitcoin into Ethereum? And is it too late to buy BTC? Hey guys, my name is Sheldon Evans, welcome back. Or if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on all bell notifications. As you know, YouTube does often gatekeep a lot of the cryptocurrency content here on YouTube. So unless you let them know that you want to see this content, you'll miss out on this time-sensitive information. So on my display right now, I have the Bitcoin US dollar chart. And as you can see, we absolutely smashed through the previous Fibonacci level and we're on our way to the next one. Does this mean we're going to continue going? Did I make a mistake converting most of my Ethereum in my previous video? As you guys know, I did make a big change and converted a lot of my Bitcoin position into Ethereum when I felt that Bitcoin was getting a little overextended. Was this a mistake? Well, in my opinion, not really. There was quite a lot of interest in that previous video, almost at 300,000 views. So quite a lot of people were on either side of that trade. Now, the thing is, I did convert a lot of my Bitcoin into Ethereum and converted most of it about 7 days ago. Now, Bitcoin is currently up almost 30% and Ethereum is up 28.6%. So did I make a mistake? Well, not really. A lot of people have been saying that I missed out on insane Bitcoin gains and it's sad that I've lost some of my Bitcoin. Well, in fact, I haven't really. I was hedging against Bitcoin being slightly overextended and possibly breaking back down or doing some sort of correction. Ethereum was the safer bet, not necessarily the more profitable bet. And I've said this many times before, I would rather play a slightly safer bet with a better risk to reward ratio than simply hodling and holding Bitcoin and not taking any profits. Now, Bitcoin has been up significantly since that last video and we did absolutely smash through that level like I just showed you. And there's not really any resistance until we get to, what is this, the $45,500 level. Now the thing is, Bitcoin is currently in the price discovery mode. We've never seen levels like this before. We have no idea what is going on. And the thing is that this is very easy for it to form a blow off top and absolutely come crashing down. Not that I'm saying this is going to happen. This time is very different to the previous experiences that we've had with Bitcoin. We've never seen this much institutional investment before. We've never seen this much money flowing into Bitcoin so quickly. And the thing is that because we're in the stage of euphoria, we're in the stage of price discovery, it's very difficult or it's impossible to do any sort of price analysis or any sort of chart analysis because this is uncharted territory. Although with Ethereum, we've seen this before. We've seen where we are currently. We're not even near the previous all-time high. We're 43% away from that previous all-time high. So we can still chart our way up. We can still predict that, yes, we will be able to hit and break this previous all-time high. Whereas with Bitcoin, it could turn around at literally any second. We have no idea when this is going to happen. And again, not that I'm saying that it could. Bitcoin could overextend dramatically. It could reach $50,000. Maybe Bitcoin hits $90,000 before we turn around. That would be in the absolute extreme case. I don't think that's possible at all. And you can never say that because these markets are insane. It's played on emotion right now. These are emotional times for Bitcoin and for investors in Bitcoin. So they're absolutely buying up every last bit of Bitcoin there is. So if we do some analysis on Bitcoin, we'll see that currently 100% of all Bitcoin holders ever are in profit. Now that's the thing that is quite scary here, is that you cannot expect people to not take any profits. There will be some people who will be taking some profits since absolutely every holder of Bitcoin in the world is in profit right now. So there will be some profit taking. And if we take a look at the fear and greed index of Bitcoin, right now it's at extreme greed, and that can be a little bit dangerous, especially when we start approaching that 100% number, that people are very, very greedy. When investors are greedy, that means the market is due for a correction. Now, again, I'm not saying you can predict when this correction could happen. It could not happen very soon, but it is highly expected. So is it too late to buy Bitcoin? Well, that again is going to be a personal decision. I am personally not accumulating at this range right now because I do believe that we will see some form of a correction. Not necessarily to the downside. We could continue going up and then do another correction. Like I said, at this position, we could do a major correction and still be above $20,000. Although if we keep extending upwards, we could still see a correction to the downside that will keep us in this 30K range. So it's not a bad idea to buy right now if you're willing to hold through those potential dips or inevitable dips at this point. Even at the $30,000 or $40,000 level, Bitcoin is still incredibly cheap to where it will be later on this year. It wouldn't surprise me if we see the 2, 3, maybe even 4 even $500,000 level for Bitcoin. And I've explained this in the previous video as to why we would be seeing that, because we have this major institutional investment right now. MicroStrategy, which is a publicly traded company owned by Michael Saylor, has actually invested over $1 billion in Bitcoin, and since doing that, they've tripled their stock value to $3 billion. And Michael Saylor himself has a significant personal investment in Bitcoin. So these institutional investments could be what keeps the price up. Not necessarily all the way at the top, we will see some sort of correction, but it could protect us from the downside and prevent a massive correction. Now, this is not a bearish scenario for Bitcoin at all. We are absolutely 100% without a doubt in a bull market right now. Bitcoin will continue running for the rest of the year, as will the rest of the cryptocurrency market. If we take a look at the whole market right now, we're currently sitting at a $890 billion market cap, almost $1 trillion market cap for the whole of the cryptocurrency market. Bitcoin alone is at 636 billion, which is in fact very, very small. It sounds like a lot of money, but when you think about this, don't think of it as your own personal money. It's not your back pocket change that you're investing in this market or that is forming the market cap. This is money that is invested by people all around the world. And to get an idea of how small this actually is, we can take a look at things like the gold market cap, which is currently sitting at around $10 trillion. Now, the Pompliano believes that Bitcoin will exceed gold's market cap in less than a decade. And gold's market cap is currently sitting at $9 trillion. We're nowhere near that right now, sitting at $500 billion or just over $500 billion in market cap. Now, if we were to get to just $6 trillion, that's already a 10x from here, and that'll pump the entire crypto market into the trillions of dollars and trillion-dollar market caps. I believe Ethereum could, in the next 5 years, maybe even in the next market, who knows, reach $1 trillion market cap. So with Pump saying that Bitcoin will surpass gold's market cap by December 31st, 2029, I feel like this is a conservative estimate. We could very much reach that even sooner than that. And to understand how small that is in the grand scheme of things, even $10 trillion, like I said, this is not your pocket change. We take a look at the overall market value in the world. The world GDP is $55 trillion and the broad currency market is $65 trillion. Like if we look at the so-called market cap of different currencies around the world, the US dollar is sitting at $14 trillion, the euro at $14 trillion, the Canadian dollar at $1.8 trillion, the yen at $12 trillion. These are massive amounts of money, and if Bitcoin or cryptocurrency as a whole does in fact become globally used currencies, which they are very well on their way to becoming, they could easily overtake or become and replace the market cap of these world currencies. Imagine a currency that is easily accessible, tradable around the world, whereas each of these are basically confined to the borders of the country that they're in. Yes, there is the forex market. Yes, there is currency trading, although it's nowhere near as simple and easy as Bitcoin. Now, cryptocurrency might sound complicated and difficult to the general public, but once you get to the crux of the matter and understand the fundamentals of it and how it works, it's super simple to understand. It's a simple model that basically resets the entire financial system and makes global trade of money, global transfer of wealth incredibly easy. So if we truly are witnessing a revolution of the world finance markets and the world financial system, then this is it. This is where Bitcoin becomes the $1 trillion cryptocurrency. It becomes the multi-trillion dollar cryptocurrency and surpasses millions of dollars per coin. If we see $1 million Bitcoin in the next 5 to 10 years, it wouldn't surprise me at all. In fact, it's expected. And the reason that I say this is just as I said before, where we compare it to the world markets and we compare it to the price of gold. Gold is in fact an inflationary asset. If we need more gold, we can mine more gold. Yes, it gets easier to mine gold over time, so we're able to extract more and more gold. The supply of gold can be artificially controlled because we don't actually know how much gold is in the world. We don't actually know how easy it will become to mine gold. Whereas Bitcoin, it is absolutely finite. We know exactly how much Bitcoin there is in the world and how much Bitcoin there will always ever be. And it's actually deflationary because, as I've spoken about before, if you understand the halving or how Bitcoin works, every 4 years the block rewards are halved for Bitcoin. The supply actually increases at a slower rate and we will never actually reach that 21 million Bitcoin hard cap, the absolute maximum supply of Bitcoin. And that excludes the amount of Bitcoin that gets lost into the ether in the world, people who forget access to their wallets, people who lose their Bitcoin, people who send it to the wrong address and burn their Bitcoin. It is a deflationary asset, so the supply is actually at stress. There will always be less Bitcoin as we move into the future, whereas every other asset is basically inflationary. If you've held any currency around the world for the past 10 years, you hold less than you did 10 years ago. Your value of that currency is worth less than it was 10 years ago. Whereas if we look at Bitcoin, it is ever increasing and it will only ever increase. It is designed to do that. And when we see these major corrections like we might see soon, do not worry, do not fear. This is when you will start hearing the news that says, we told you Bitcoin is going to crash, this is the end. It is absolutely not. These corrections are welcomed. It allows us to reset and move more healthily to those new highs, to the $100,000, to the $1 million highs of Bitcoin. And if we continue at this rate, I expect a correction quite soon. And I've hedged against that by moving into Ethereum. And I've spoken about this in my previous video. If we take a look at the stock to flow model in Bitcoin, you'll see that we can understand exactly where we are in the market right now. These white hedges up as we see in this chart is actually where the Bitcoin halving happens. And right now we've just surpassed the previous halving, so we are slowly moving to the peak of the new correction. As you can see, every time there's a halving, we increase the price, and this is on a logarithmic scale. This is on an exponential chart, right? So initially we moved from 10 cents to $1 to $10, and we overcorrected back down to around $2, and then we moved up again all the way to $100, and we overcorrected down a little bit more. Then we moved to $1,000 and overcorrected back down to around $200. Then we moved up to the 10K level and corrected back down to 1,000, and then we moved up to 20 and corrected back down. We've just surpassed our previous all-time high and are continually making new all-time highs. A correction will be absolutely welcomed so that we can then smash through those new highs and absolutely see Bitcoin skyrocket. I have no problem hedging against that by moving my Bitcoin into Ethereum. As I said, I'm not losing my Bitcoin. I'm trying to maximize as much Bitcoin as I can. And if I can put my money into better performing assets that outperform Bitcoin and then transfer those profits into Bitcoin, in the end, I will end up with more BTC than I did if I had simply held Bitcoin. I hope you guys like that analysis, and if you want better calls on cryptocurrencies that I'm investing in at any given moment, take a look at my Patreon. A link to that is down in the description below. I made some good calls yesterday where we did 110% gains in a single day, so that was fantastic. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on all of those bell notifications. As always, I shall see you in the next video. Cheers.